How do you overcome that turmoil? I think, well, you you have to make sure you have a real great sense of and communicate with your team the core values, what your office is about, what do you want from your team, and you need to treat your team members well.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Gloves Off. I'm David Rice, your chief editor here at DentistryIQ, and I'm back again with
Louis Kaufman,
Hey Lewis, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Doing good.
Awesome. Listen, so last time, this is part two of a kind of a new dentist conversation of if I only knew then what I know now. And man, there's so many things in 30 years I can think about that I really wish I knew. We talked about, capitalizing on the oral systemic link and thinking differently and being that practice that really gets out of the box. Today, I want to focus us on a topic that is, I'm going to say, the number one problem we have in dentistry. And that is we've got turmoil with team, we've got turnover with team. There are a lot of hygienists who genuinely dislike their dentist, and probably some dentists who genuinely dislike their hygienist. So, as a dentist, how do we overcome that?
You know, I see the havoc that's happened in our industry over the last 5 years, if you will. I mean, really since the pandemic and the shortage we have of assistants and hygienists. I feel really blessed. I had three hygienists going in. I have two hygienists still that are the same. And we have found another part-timer that's come in that likes our culture and what we built. How do you overcome that turmoil? I think, well, you you have to make sure you have a real great sense of and communicate with your team the core values, what your office is about, what do you want from your team, and you need to treat your team members well. And what I mean by well, it's not just pay, it's how you have a conversation, how you speak with them. You know, I remember about 20 years ago, my head dental assistant, Angel, came to me and she said, Doc, you got to stop with the loud voice. You got to stop yelling. You're yelling too much. Where some of us are in back, crying at times. I'm like, oh my God, when did I turn into this individual? I'm thinking to myself. And she did that to me in private. She brought me away in private to have this discussion. And here I am, a guy who changed careers at 27 years old. That's a discussion for a different time. But I used to be in the fast food industry, ran hundreds of employees, I mean, successfully well, and had a great reputation. But I was like, what happened to that guy? And I really had to do some soul searching and do some reading about what am I bringing to the table? What am I presenting? How are people responding to me? And what she taught me was a reminder of it's another human being on the other side of this. I need to have a discussion with them. I need to talk to them. I need to hear them. We might not agree completely on everything, but they need my respect. They need my kindness. They need my empathy. I also need to understand they have a life outside of this practice.
Mm.
Okay. What do I know about them? They're not just a person who shows up because I am the dentist. It's great that we earned the education. We're successful. We're smart people, and we want to make it an environment where people want to come to work. Do we treat them well with respect? Are they performing at the level we need them to? And if they're not, well, do I need to educate that person better, more, to show them what I want? We can't just expect them to know. We can't expect another person to understand what I'm thinking. I can't ever, assume what you're thinking or what's going through your mind. My favorite expression is, I'm not a mind reader, you know, and I have found, when I talk, just like you and me are talking, having a conversation, that builds cohesiveness in your team when you do things together. Right now, we're planning a next event. What are we going to do as a team? Because it's been a while since we had a team building session. And maybe we can talk about that on another episode when that happens. Make it a place people want to work. The people enjoy coming in. Another thing is, you're the dentist. Don't show up at, your office opens at, I mean, your first page maybe is 8. You better be there at 7 o'clock. You should be checking to make sure the floors are clean, everything is clean, neat, straight, the way you want it. You own that business. That is your practice. You got to treat it golden, because that's a representation of you, being the first one in the door, and almost the last one to leave some days. At least that's how I always was, the first one and still am. Might be out the door before everybody a little bit at the end of the day, because, I figured 30 years I paid my dues a little bit. And there's days I still stay late if a patient needs to see me. But uh, and if somebody needs a day off or a doctor's appointment, give it to them. I mean, people, we got to take care of our team.
I love that. Okay, friends. So first, what I'm going to share so I don't forget is re-listen to the last 5 minutes, because you said so many things that are critical to success, yet also, I think, basic to human nature, and maybe things that are hard to execute because they take our intention, but easy, right? This is not, it's not rocket science to say, one, the people on our team are human. They have a life outside. I should learn about it. Two, core values. What are mine as the practice owner? What are theirs? Do they connect? And I'm positive, based on what you said, that you've learned to attract people who shared your core values along this journey. You mentioned communication, and then you mentioned a really cool example of how a team member communicated with you in private. So young docs, remember that, right? If you have a serious conversation to have somebody, do it behind a closed door. If you want to praise somebody, do it out so the world hears it. So friends, I need you to re-listen to that last 5 minutes, because there was more knowledge in there than you're going to get in an hour and a half conversation on both days. Louis, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. We got a part 3. We're going to talk about how to leverage these relationships that you now have built because you've done your part, doc, and how to help level up the care you deliver to your patients as a young doc. See you then.